best part for the end. Eurovis 2026, Nottingham. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you, Mohammed, for a great Eurovis, by the way. So I thought it would be fun to describe the journey to Eurovis 2026. I thought it would be a fun time. And in order to describe the journey to Eurovis 2026, we have to go back in time. When back in time, I'm not sure, but one of the significant events that led to Eurovis 2026 is Eurovis 2012 in Vienna. Was anybody at Eurovis 2012 in Vienna? So a historic conversation took place. Of course, it was led by the Meister Eli Gruller, who's not here, unfortunately. But me and the Meister and Robert Corsaro were having a conversation, and the Meister says, "Bob, what about Eurovis in Swansea?" And I had like this visceral reaction, like I laughed and I panicked at the same time. I burst out laughing, but that was kind of an expression of my panic, really. So in my panic, I said, okay, I will only do this if Superman Chen agrees to be co-chair. And we went and asked Superman Chen if he would agree to be co-chair, and he agreed, so the decision was made. But suddenly, your experience of Eurovis changes. So if you're there as a delegate, you're kind of free-spirited, exploring, you're having a lot of fun. But if somebody asks you to organize it, your brain changes, the neuroplasticity changes. Because you think, oh, wait a sec, maybe I should start paying attention to how it's organized. And you start noticing a million little things that need to be organized, and the stress just goes up and up. No, just kidding, no stress. So we had an amazing Eurovis in 2012 in Vienna. That was followed up by another amazing Eurovis led by Derek Scheuermann in Leipzig, and we spent the next year preparing for Eurovis 2014, which was in Swansea, Wales, which is where I used to work, at Swansea University. And that was a fun Eurovis too. It was 2 years of preparation, typically. That was the year we introduced the Star Track to Eurovis, which we're happy about. And it was a great experience to finish that project. Like the end is such a great experience. It was such a relief. And then we had a series of amazing Eurovises after that. We had the 2015 in Cagliari. That was such a great Eurovis. I enjoyed that so much. I didn't have to pay attention to anything. I could just relax and enjoy the conference. It was so great. We had the great one in Groningen. I'm surprised at how many Eurovises I've been to, by the way. It's a long list. I enjoyed that, and I'm hoping we go back to the Netherlands at some point soon. We had the great one in Barcelona. That was a great Eurovis too, really hot. I remember that being very, very hot. We had, of course, Brno in the Czech Republic. I loved that city, by the way. I thought I could definitely live in this city. Great Eurovis. We had, of course, the Porto one. I had to buy a poncho for that one. I was not expecting that. Did anybody remember that the heavy rains? Anybody else have to buy a poncho? I hope I still have it. Where was I? Okay, and then in 2020, history was made again. So something happened in 2020. Some of you might remember, or some of you might have noticed. In 2020, I switched universities from Swansea to Nottingham. And then history was made again because we had this combination that Anders worked so hard on of combining the Eurographics and the Eurovis conference into one, which turned into a virtual event. I don't know how many years that needed to plan, but that was more than a 2-year planning process for sure. We had another virtual Eurovis in Switzerland. And then in 2022, we had a sort of return to in-person Eurovis, where there was another important milestone in the journey to Eurovis 2026. I remember going to Rome and showing up on the Monday morning and just having this really weird feeling, like, wow, am I in a movie or something? It just feels weird to come back to the in-person experience of seeing everybody again. Like I hadn't seen anybody in so long. The first coffee break comes, and like I'm still waking up, and a special professor, oh, it disappeared. Slides, I'm talking too long. Security. Special professor runs up to me full of energy, which isn't too shocking. His name is Professor Garrick Scheuermann. Is Garrick here somewhere? He's not. Oh, there he is. Thank you, Garrick. He runs up to me. I'm still waking up. I'm still getting out of my, like, I don't know, getting back into real life mode, if that makes any sense. Like, making this transition back to real life mode and in-person events mode. Like, waking up from a dream, sort of. Garrick runs up to me and he says, guess what, Bob? We're having Eurovis in Leipzig in 2023. Oh, I think it would be a great idea to have 2024 in Nottingham. Just like we had the repeat, and try to repeat 2013 and 2014. And I just burst out laughing. I thought, that is the funniest joke. Out of all the jokes that Garrick has told me, that is a good one. That is really, really funny. And I just burst out laughing and walked away. And then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, wait a second, is Garrick on the steering committee or something? And I look, and he's the head of the steering committee. I'm like, that wasn't a joke. And then I met him later. I don't know if he remembers. I said, Garrick, was that a joke? I thought that was a joke. That's why I was laughing. He said, sorry, Bob. No, that wasn't actually a joke. Do you remember that, Garrick? Yeah. Anyways, I was like, oh, no, I don't think so. Like, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not Garrick. Then we had another amazing Eurovis in Adenza. And then the journey to Eurovis 2026 really took a climax during this year. So I was just, wandering around, minding my own business, and every coffee break and every lunch, somebody would come up to me and say, hey, Bob, when is Eurovis going to be in Nottingham? I just shrugged my shoulders. I don't know. Like, why should I know that question? And as the week went on, the frequency with which I was asked this question increased. It was increasing day by day. Like, the number of times I was asked this question, it got to such a point where I was like, my gosh, what is going on here? I ran into the toilet, and I looked in the mirror. I'm like, is there something on my head? Like, my forehead asked me about Eurovis or something? Like, is there something on my face? Like, I didn't see anything. And then the Thursday came. I felt really exhausted. I was scratching my head. I went back to my hotel room, exhausted, and just think, what's going on here? And then I sat down. I can't do a reenactment of sitting down. Like, I sat down in my chair in my hotel room, and I was like, wait a second. Is there something? I felt something on my back, like something really strange and unfamiliar. Wait a second, is there something on my back? Like, what the heck is going on? And then I reach back and I can feel something peeling off some weird thing, and I see it, and it's this big sticker on my back that says, "Please ask me about hosting Eurovis in Nottingham." I'm like, what the heck? So here we are. That's it. That's the history. And of course, we have this amazing event. So, some notes about Eurovis 2026. It will be in Nottingham, so that finally answers the question: when is Eurovis coming to Nottingham? You can already register if you like. So if you have a budget between now and then that's going to run out and expire, and you have a little bit of leftover money, you can go ahead and register. I already registered myself to test out the registration system at the full price. I didn't give myself a discount or anything like that. We're going to have some new tracks, some new events, Eurovis 2026. One's called Viz Shoot. So Viz Shoot is going to be a special bow and arrow contest to see who has the best archery skills. We're also going to have another one called Viz Tax. So Viz Tax is to see who has the skills to steal tax money and deliver it to the Eurovis delegates. I have to do this. And we also have one other special feature. This is actually real. There will be a tick box on the registration form, or there is a tick box on the registration form. Was anybody here at Eurovis 2014? Few people. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. There is a tick box on the registration form that says, "Were you at Eurovis 2014 in Swansea, Wales?" Those people that register for 2014 and 2026 are going to get a special prize. Thank you very much, and I hope to see everybody at Eurovis.
Some comfort chocolate for the coming time. Good luck, and I have to say, Robert has put a lot of pressure on me because his website was ready before we even had this So just